Hey guys, it's Diana. Just going on a little bit early so that I can get things adjusted a little bit here for you with clue number one showing here. Hopefully, if you're interested in witnessing or participating, sorry about that, participating live, hopefully you have this all ready to go. So this was clue number one that went out, and I'm sorry I can't do Monday this week because I have symphony rehearsal that starts tomorrow, and I should do a better job at putting my rehearsals on my calendar because it seems like every time that we start rehearsing, I don't have the rehearsals on my schedule, and I don't know why. They're like scheduled way in advance. So I apologize that this is on a Sunday, but you can watch it at any point. So hopefully you guys get just as much fun out of it as if you can't watch. Hey, hi Margie, hi Becky. Awesome. I'm glad you guys are tuning in. I appreciate that. And I forgot to send out a picture of the supplies that I was going to be using today. So hopefully it's okay, and you can just make your sample with the supplies you have. And if you like this card, which is going to be really quick and simple, because the Chiefs are playing right now, and I just had my husband hit pause, and so he can't watch it either. So don't message me anything about the Chiefs game because it's paused right now. So anybody else? I think Margie, I think you were going to the Jacksonville game today. So, and I don't know whether they won or let's see, they were playing the Giants today, I believe. I only know that because my brother's a big Giants fan. So, but anyway, okay, guys. Well, hopefully, here's clue number one for you. I'm going to go ahead and show you the supplies that I have while we're getting set up. Oh, the Jaguars lost. Well, my brother will be really happy, but I'm sorry for you, but my brother will be ecstatic because that means the Giants won. Okay, my supplies. Colored cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4. Today I'm using Pear Pizzazz. Colored cardstock, 2.5 by 4. I went ahead and just kept the same color of cardstock. You could have a coordinating color if you would like. It doesn't have to be the same color or not. Basic white scrap. So my scrap, I put an X on my scrap so I know which one is my scrap. Basic white 2, 4 by 5 1/4. So I've got those. Stamps. So the stamps that I'm using tonight is the hand penned petals. That's the stamp set. Large image stamp. So I was going to use this large image stamp and one line greeting stamp. So it has some greeting stamps down here that I could use any of these, the thank you or any of those. So that's the stamp set I chose for tonight. Ink pads, I'm really only going to use the Memento because I'm going to do a little bit of watercolor technique later. So I'm going to use the Memento so that it doesn't run when I start to do my watercolor. Okay. Let's see, large greeting ink pads. So that's the only ink pad I have. Coloring tools. Today I'm going to be using the pastels with the aqua painter. I'm going to use, so you can have the paper trimmer with your scoring blade or a simply scored. I'm going to use the simply scored just because I think for this project, it gives a little bit better definition on what we're going to do. It's just a little bit different technique. I think you guys will like it. It's not going to be difficult. This is still a quick and easy, simple card. Dies, punches, and snips. So I'm going to go ahead and use the dies that coordinate with the hand penned. So I'm just going to pop it out right quick. So I'm going to use this big one because I'm going to use that big flower. So I'm just going to pop this out. I'm going to use this out of that die set that goes with that stamp set. Just so you can see every little part of that. So I'm going to use that die. However, there you go. I've got my liquid glue because I love liquid glue. And I've got a few little dimensionals, and for my embellishments, I just have a couple of little butterflies, the self-adhesive butterflies, brass butterflies. Yeah, I think they're called brass butterflies. Okay, so that's what I'm using for tonight. I'm going to go ahead and move it off of here, and we will get on with clue number 2. I would love to know what stamp sets and stuff you guys are using. So if you want to comment in the comments, I can see those comments. I did forget my die cutting machine though, so let me go grab that really quick. The wind here is blowing like crazy. I mean, it is a blowing, like things are blowing past my window. It is really aggressive today. So hopefully it's nicer where you are because it's crazy around here. So, okay, let's get on with clue number 2. Okay, guys. So clue number 2, put it way up here at the top so I have room to stamp. Oh, I should have got a clean one of these. Can I do it on the back? No, let's just leave it like that. Quit messing with it. I'll just quit messing with it. Okay, so clue number 2, stamp one line greeting at the top right corner of one of the basic white 4 by 5 1/4. So that's this one. And we're going to stamp a greeting. So I'm going to use my memento. I'm going to go ahead and just use the congratulations from that set. A little congratulations because I have some friends who just had a baby. So I'm just going to ink this up. Top right corner. And it already said that we were going to be, this is going to be a portrait card. So that means it's going to be up and down. So I'm just going to be stamping in the top right, just like that. And that's all we have right now. Hold on just a minute. Well, hopefully you guys can't hear that. My husband apparently turned on a game or something in the other room. So hopefully you can't hear that. Do you guys have spouses who are gamers? Oh, you're using the cup of tea set, Becky? That will be perfect. This will be perfect for that. So, but my husband's a gamer, but usually he doesn't have it up quite that loud. It's funny. Anyway, so if you hear weird random people yelling and there's nothing going on here, everything's fine. Okay, let's go on. I'm sure you guys have that greeting stamped. Okay, clue number 3. Here you go. Okay, so using the paper trimmer with the scoring blade or your Simply Scored tool and score every 1/4 inch on the colored cardstock that measures 2 1/4 by 4. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside. So this is our little piece here that is 2 1/2 by 4. And we're going to use our Simply Scored or your scoring blade. So here, I've got my Simply Scored here. And it wants us to score 1/4 inch every 1/4 inch. So I'm going to do mine this way. You can do yours vertically if you'd like. You can do it horizontally. You can do it however you want to. You can do it this way this time and then do it the other way next time. So make a different one. But it's going to say every 1/4 inch. So I'm just going to start at the 1/4 inch and just go down. I use my hand to just kind of go across. It actually, the oil from your skin makes your stylus travel more smoothly across your cardstock. I'm going to just flip it around here. Let's see, I think I did. Stopped there. There we go. But that's a tip for you. Or you can use wax paper, but I just have my skin always with me. So, so all you're going to do is score it every 1/4 inch like that. And if you're using the your scoring tool on your cutting your scoring blade on your cutter, then they just aren't as well defined. They're not thicker. I used the little bit thicker tip. There's a couple of balls on your stylus, and I just used the thicker one so they showed up a little bit better. So that one is just, and like I said, you can score it horizontally or vertically. It doesn't matter. But that is what it's asking you to do for clue number 3. So, and it's just every 1/4 inch. Now, if you did it again, like if you did that and then flipped it over and did it again, not flipped it over, but did it again, you would come up with a plaid pattern. So you could actually do this again, do it as a plaid pattern. So there are lots of fun. Hi, Emily. Glad you could join us. We were just talking about our husbands and gaming. Is your husband a gamer or into football? Like, am I getting all the football spouses away? I know Tamala, that's why she's not watching, is because the Chiefs are on. So everybody have this part done. And this side is impressed and this side is depressed. Well, no, this is depressed. So it's poked in. That's the side we scored on. And then this side is poked out. Okay. So you've got 2 different sides that you'll be able to use also. Okay. Okay. Let's go on to clue number 4. Okay. Clue number 4. Let's see here. Clue number 4. Add the scored colored cardstock to the bottom of the basic white 4 by 5 1/4. Liquid glue works the best because of the texture. Okay, and I think this was supposed to say the 4 by 5 1/4 that you just stamped your greeting on. So this one that you just stamped your greeting on, we're going to apply this to the bottom of the basic white. So it's going to go down here. So you decide which side you want to show. Do you want it to be impressed or depressed? So you decide. I like the other side better, so I'm just going to add a little bit of liquid glue. Because of all the ridges and stuff, you'll want to use liquid glue or something that's going to be very adhesive, because you're going to have those ridges, so not all the parts of the cardstock are going to have contact. So that's why you need something that's going to kind of squish into all those crevices and cracks and grooves and stuff. That's why I prefer the liquid glue on this one. But you can certainly use the Stampin' Seal, or you could probably use tear and tape also. So, okay. Set my liquid glue aside. And there is that piece. And see what I mean by, so if you wanted to do horizontal lines, you could do horizontal. It doesn't matter. Or if you wanted to do the plaid, you could do the plaid. So we're just gluing those together. He's big into football and fantasy football. Okay. My hubby's not into the fantasy football, just the fantasy games. Oh, I think he did turn it down, though, because I don't hear it anymore. That or everyone got killed. I don't know. Okay. Clue number 5. So add the basic white layer with the scored cardstock to the colored cardstock front with adhesive. So we're already seeing our card kind of come together. So we're going to take our cardstock base that should already be scored for you. And we're going to add this basic white layer to the front of this. And this is where, if you used a coordinating color of cardstock, or I used the same color, but you could use either. We're just going to adhere this to here. Remember, with the liquid glue, you do have a little bit of room to kind of move things around and adjust, which is why I kind of like the liquid glue too. So there is that. So there we kind of have our card base already. But isn't that neat? That just adds just a little bit of a different look to your card. And it's really, really simple. Oh, you did the plaid, Becky? Great. I can't wait to see it. You'll have to make sure you post a picture, text a picture, or put it on our Facebook group. That would be great. I bet that's really pretty. Okay, now that we have our card put together, let's see what we're going to do next. Okay, now we're going to get into some stamping, girls. So we're going to stamp. I'm going to set this aside. We're going to stamp a large image on the basic white scrap that we have. So I have my scrap right there. Color if needed, using punches, dies, or snips to cut out the stamped image. So I'm going to use the large flower, this one, from the hand penned. And I'm going to use the memento. So I'm just going to ink it up here. And I've got my foam under here since I'm using a photopolymer stamp. So there's my stamped image. Set my stamp aside. And my stamp pad. Okay, and now it says color if needed. So this is where you would use any of your coloring tools or techniques that you like. I haven't shown this before, so I'm just going to go ahead and use the chalks, the pastels. Sorry, they're pastels. So that's what they look like. Let me put them off of the clue. There you go. So what I'm going to do, there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can use the pastels. And here is a little chart that we made at one of my meetings. What it looks like using different techniques with the pastels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the color taken from the chalk with the watercolor brush. Okay, so this is the technique I'm going to do today, but you can shave the pastels. You can just use the a butter knife, or you can use the spatula tip on your take a pick tool and just shave a little bit of chalk onto your block, your acrylic block, and just pick it up that way. You can use blender pens. You can use watercolor brushes, the aqua brushes. You can do it with a dry brush. So this is using dry brush. So here's the Versamark. So you can do lots of fun things with the pastels. So just to kind of show you, there's several different ways to use them and different looks that will happen depending on what you're doing. I am going to use, wherever it is, I know I brought it, here it is. I'm going to, so my aqua painter is really juicy. So, and this is nasty looking. So, but anyway, this is my, I cut my chamois into little pieces and I put them in here. But my aqua painter, you just put water in the handle and don't push on it because it's going to make way too much water come out. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to brush this across. Okay. And I like to start in the middle and work my way out, because then the darkest color is in the middle. And if you get too much water that's coming out and your paper starts to peel, just tap it a little bit to take off some of that water onto a napkin or a paper towel, or if you have the chamois like I do, you can do it that way. It doesn't take very much, and the more you go into it, the darker it is. So you can go back in and darken these little places. Like I said, if it gets a little bit too wet, take some of that off of there, okay? And then go back in. But also, you know, you guys could be using the markers at this point. You could be, if your stamp set comes with the middle part, so you can just be stamping this where you don't have to actually use a coloring tool to color it in. But how pretty is that? Isn't that neat? So this is just with the pastels. I'm just going to go in a little bit. Like I said, with our regular paper, don't go in too much because it'll start peeling on you. Okay, and then I'm just going to put this back in, and I'm going to use a little bit of green. So here's the green. What are you guys using to color yours in with? Have you played with the pastels? How about that? Have you played with the pastels? I'm not a very good watercolor person, and I'm not really a very good color book person. I really don't take the time to do color book very often. I admit I'd rather just have it stamped and done. But it is kind of rewarding sometimes. Most of the time, I think mine just looks like poop. But, you know, we're our own worst judge, aren't we? We give ourselves so much of a hard time, and it's not that bad. You're doing amazing. Oh, what am I doing here? Oh, yeah, I want to do these little guys in yellow. These little guys in yellow. You guys using stuff to color things in, or have you played with these much? They're kind of fun to play with. We used to have chalks that you just used a Q-tip and just dipped it in the Q-tip. They were a softer chalk, but so these are just a little bit different. They're a lot harder. That's why you have to, if you're going to use the shaved technique, you have to actually shave off little pieces because they're actually like really hard. You can color directly with them also. It's just a little bit harder. You can smooth them out, but they do come off on your skin. So that's why I kind of like using them. And you can use them with an alcohol marker too. You can put a little bit of alcohol and then that'll dry a little bit faster for you. But it's a lot of fun. These are a lot of fun to play with. A lot of fun to play with. So let me put those away while you guys finish up your coloring. And then it actually says that we're going to have to cut this out somehow. So I have a die for mine. If you don't have a die, you might have to fussy cut. You might want to punch if you have a punch that you can use. I'm going to use my mini. So I've got this. And this is how you use these. The dies line up. And then I've got these little Post-it tabs. Oh, yeah, my husband's watching another show. So sorry. There is no one actually screaming in my house. Oh, that's hilarious. I'm so sorry. I'll have to make sure he knows next time. So these little Post-it notes are just holding my die down for when I put it in my mini. And the trick to the mini is make sure that you offset your pads. So you have one and then you have two twos that you're going to make your sandwich with. Just make sure you offset them a little bit. Oh, I cut my piece too big. Hold on, I got to get a scissors. It won't go through. It's too big for my mini. And I didn't want to grab my big one. So let me cut this down a bit so it'll fit through my mini. Okay. So when you make your sandwich, you have your 1 and your 2. And then I'm going to put this here. I'm going to offset them a little bit and then put this one on here so that they're kind of all staggered. And then I'm going to put them in and try to get them started. Hold on. It's hard because my machine's way in front of me. Hold on. Let me pull it towards me here for a second. Wheel. And of course, it doesn't want to go at all. Let me start. Let me restagger my things here. There we go. Let me get them in. Okay. Sorry, everything is moving on my table. That's why I don't like to do die cuts on my lives. Okay, Becky. Let me see what you're saying, Becky. Not painting in. The other day I made a gnome card. I die cut the gnomes out of the paper, then painted the hats a different with water paint. Oh, cool. That's a great idea. How fun is that? Okay, so now I have this. Take these off and just put them back on my little thing. And I've got this die cut. So I'll set this aside. Yeah, I'm not a big fussy cutter. That's another thing that I don't feel like I do very well is fussy cut. So I don't know. I guess I just don't think I do anything really well. Okay, so hopefully you guys have everything colored and stamped or die cut. And I'm messed up my whole little work area here. Anyway, just we'll go with it. We'll go with it. Okay, let's go to clue number 7. Since we've got that done. Okay. Clue number 7. Use dimensionals and add the cutout image to the card front. So here's our card. And we're going to use dimensionals. And yes, at home I use all of my dimensionals. I cut them, even the edges I cut off. So I'm just going to peel these off here. Put them here so we can get some good adhesion. Yep, I use all of the little space on my dimensionals. Do you guys like, do your little dimensional things look like all like this? Because you've cut out all the little corner parts and everything. Okay, let's put that there. Okay, and we'll just peel this off. We're going to adhere this to the front of our card. Okay. And you can adhere it wherever you would like. I'm just going to kind of put it a little bit off to the right so we can add some extra embellishments if we want to. But there is our card front for the moment. Isn't that neat with the little bit of extra texture that wasn't very hard to do? It didn't take us hardly any time. Yes, Emily, great. Yep, can't waste those little edges. We are true stampers at heart. Okay, so we've got that on, and we have add the basic white 4 by 5 1/4 to the inside of the card. Okay, so this is just going to go on the inside. Now, if you wanted to stamp something on this prior to putting it in your inside of your card, you're more than welcome to do that. Or if you want to stamp a greeting or something, remember always stamp first, then adhere it. That way, if you mess it up, you can flip it over and stamp on the back. But since I'm going to leave mine blank at the moment, I'm just going to adhere this here. But you could use another stamp from that stamp set, or like I said, you could stamp your greeting on the inside. So there's that. Just putting that on. How's that? That's really cool. I just love how this just gives it a little extra pop. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm wondering if I should have done it in the Highland Heather. This little embossed part in the Highland Heather. Or, oh, the So Saffron. We could have done it in the So Saffron. That would have been really pretty in these two little colors. That would have been really pretty. So I'm going to have to make some more of these also. Okay, last clue, embellish and share. So for my embellishments tonight, I'm going to, of course, use Miss Stella because everything needs Stella. So remember, Stella is just a glitter pin. She just adds a little bit of sparkle. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that? I'm just putting it in the middle. Can you see the sparkles? A little bit. There you go, a little bit. So I'm going to add a little bit of sparkle there because Stella's invited to every party. And then I'm just going to use a few of the little brass butterflies that I have. Let's put one here. And let's put one down here. Oh, don't hide under there, buddy. Let's move you down a little. There you go. There we go. Well, there is our completed card, ladies. What do you think? How was that? See, I promised you fast and simple. I try not to take more than 30 minutes. What do you think? Isn't that cool? It's very simple, but I think a little bit elegant with this little embossed part here. Can't wait to see your samples. Don't forget to share them. You could add ribbon if you wanted to, a little bow. So I can't wait to see. Oh, and the other thing I was thinking is, what if you used the big candy canes and made this a Christmas card and used the new candy cane die that's out? Oh, the sweet candy canes? Yes. But are we really in the mood for Christmas yet? Are you guys? Let me know, and I can't wait to see your samples. Thanks for tuning in tonight, guys, and watch my Facebook page for more things that are coming up. Thanks. Bye.